School told the jury he performed CPR on Austin Metcalf and he heard the 17-year-old take his last breath. No cameras are allowed in the courtroom, but a court sketch artist captured an abstract snapshot that shows Coach Joshua Redman at the stand with a photo of the jacket he told the jury he used to put pressure on Metcalf's wound. Lead prosecutor Bill Werski physically held the jacket, now stained with Metcalf's blood, for the jury to see up close.
It's a long trial. There's going to be a lot of twists and turns, but today, if you were to ask me, I would say the prosecution scored some pretty big points.
One of the most powerful moments of Thursday's testimony was the 911 call made by a fellow coach from the track meet that day. The chaos and screams were heard in the background as the 911 dispatcher is instructing the coach on what to do until EMTs arrived. You also hear Redman in the background performing life-saving measures, pleading, "Stay with me, Austin. Stay with me, Austin." And again, "Come on, Austin. Come on, Austin." Redman is a former Army veteran. He testified that when Austin began gasping for air, his training kicked in, and he knew the outcome was grim.
I thought it was incredibly powerful, probably one of the most powerful moments I can recall in trials that I've had, of hearing something like that and listening to the reaction of the people around the young man that is losing his life right in front of their eyes.
Witnesses told police Metcalf and Anthony got into an argument when Anthony sat underneath the Memorial High School tent, Metcalf's school. Anthony was a student at Centennial High School. Robert Starr, a coach for Memorial, testified that school tents are similar to a team bench in other sports. And, quote, "You just don't go into someone else's tent uninvited." Starr choked up several times on the stand when he described seeing Metcalf's face turn purple. He also told the court he prayed with Metcalf's twin brother.
They're very important to, painting that picture and making that story for the jury so they connect with it.
Jurors also heard from a video forensic analyst and saw multiple angles of surveillance video from the stadium. Anthony, now 19 years old, appeared to watch several angles of surveillance video that, although grainy when zoomed in, it shows the attack and Anthony running away. Thursday morning, both sides laid out their case to the jury. The prosecution said Metcalf was stabbed in a sneak surprise attack, calling the act a senseless murder. Defense attorney Mike Howard painted a different picture, saying Anthony, 17 at the time, acted out of fear for his safety and said the stabbing was in self-defense. One thing Howard did not bring up was the knife Anthony brought with him, and that stood out to Shapiro.
Why did he have the knife? And I'm sure a lot of people are wanting to know the same thing, but it was interesting to me that he didn't mention anything about that during his opening statement.
A coach from Liberty High School told the jury he...
Okay. Now the jury, we're going to go back down this rabbit hole. We're not done yet. Everybody relax. We got time. This is the jury. Okay. All white. I think once they start viewing the videos and stuff, the footage is gonna have to take into account for that. Okay. So let's see. Dallas-Fort Worth area is pretty heavily mixed, so the odds of you having an all-white jury, that's, once again, I think he's overcharged.
Here, within the last hour, a jury has been chosen to decide the closely watched murder trial of Karmelo Anthony.
More than 500 people were on the list of potential jurors, but the jury will not include anyone who is black, despite this case being racially charged. Fox 4's Alex Boyer joining us now. Alex.
Hey guys, good evening. That's right. And I can tell you that a court spokesperson confirmed that there are indeed no black jurors on this panel. And I can tell you that before this jury panel was seated, the defense objected to 3 black women being struck by the prosecution. Now, the prosecution contended that it was due to the fact that the women were educators, noting that this incident happened at a school function with young students. The defense then pointed out that those were three of those were 100% of the available black jurors in what's called the strike zone, adding that the state struck all 3.
Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hay.
The judge went out and reviewed their questionnaires and came back and said that the defense's challenge to the 3 jurors being dismissed was denied. The judge said the court found that the state had non-racial means to strike the jurors. Now, background. Karmelo Anthony, 17 at the time, is accused of fatally stabbing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf last year at a Frisco ISD track meet. Anthony was reportedly sitting under a tent for a school that he did not attend. Witnesses say the two got into an argument and Anthony stabbed Metcalf in the chest. Metcalf died in his twin brother's arms. Police said that Anthony told them he acted in self-defense. Now, this case has become racially charged, fueled in large part by online speculation, rumors, and misinformation. On Wednesday, attorneys for both sides got an hour and 45 minutes to question the reduced poll of these potential jurors. They were questioned on their views on a variety of topics, including race, how they felt about serving on this case, and if they would hold it against the defendant if he chose not to testify. The judge went out to testify on his own behalf. The defense also tried to gauge if the potential jurors would be uncomfortable giving Anthony a lower sentence if there is a guilty verdict.
No, sir. There is cell phone footage. One of the kids did record part of it.
I talked to a jury consultant about the process so far.
It's an excellent team on both sides. I believe Bill Worski has, he's a veteran prosecutor. He's tried some very high-profile cases. And then Toby Shook has been both a prosecutor and a criminal defense attorney. And then Mike Howard is an excellent criminal defense attorney as well. And they, along with the DA, it's going to be a very well-tried case.
Trial, which the judge hopes to have wrapped up by the end of next week. And I can tell you that 19-year-old Karmelo Anthony was in court today for the proceedings. He was wearing a suit with a tie and a purple shirt, which is also the color many of his supporters have been wearing. He did take some notes during the proceedings. I can also tell you that there does appear to be some minorities on this jury panel. Again, however, none of them are African American. Opening statements begin tomorrow at 9 a.m.
All right, so you got some tethers. Tethers and whites and tethers. That's not a good combination. Now, let's continue to go down this rabbit hole. Let's go here.
No black jurors were selected for the murder trial of Karmelo Anthony, who faces up to life in prison for the fatal stabbing of Austin Metcalf last year in Frisco. Here's an inside look at what happened in the courtroom. We started Monday with a pool of more than 600 prospective jurors, much larger than the typical pool due to the attention this case has received on social media. By Wednesday morning, that number had decreased to about 250 and was parsed down throughout the day until both sides landed on 12 core jurors and 6 alternates. During this process, each side has a set number of strikes, which allow lawyers to remove potential jurors without having to prove they're unfit to serve. Strikes based on factors like profession are allowed, but under the U.S. Supreme Court's 1986 decision on Batson versus Kentucky, lawyers can't remove prospective jurors because of race. If one side believes that has happened, it can object and ask the judge to decide whether the strike was discriminatory. That's what happened about 5 p.m. Wednesday, when prosecutors asked to strike the last 3 black jurors because they were all educators. Karmelo's defense attorney, Mike Howard, accused them of doing so without proper cause, but the judge ultimately decided with the state, saying that they offered race-neutral reasons. We will fill you in on the first day of testimony, which is expected to wrap up around 6 p.m. tonight. Stay with us at Dallas News.
Okay, so now let's go to Twitter. Let's go over what took place in Twitter. You ready? Let's go. All right. Let's go here. Under cross-exam, Boy was asked to show how the shove happened between Austin and Karmelo. Boy and defense attorney stand up to role play the shove in front of the jury. Boy stated Karmelo is sitting on a bleacher with his hands in his backpack. Other kids are calling his bluff and saying he didn't have anything in his backpack. When Austin moves in to push Karmelo, Karmelo pulls the knife from his backpack and plunges it into Austin's chest. It was all part of the same motion. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so she's got it all. Oh, yeah, we're going to go to her. She got it all lined up. Marianne Martinez. Okay. So we're going to go to her. We're going to go through her entire thread. We're going to go through her entire thread. Okay, the jurors, 12 jurors plus 6 alternates. We don't know who the jurors are and who are their alternates. White woman in her 40s, white man in his 40s, white man 20s or 30s, white woman 20s or 30s, white woman 30s, white man 50s or 60s, Asian woman 50s, white woman 60s or 70s, good lord, white or Hispanic man 40s, white man 40s, white or Hispanic woman 20 or 30s, Asian woman 30s or 40s, Hispanic or Indian man 30s or 40s. Everybody that's on this is people that don't clearly like us. Middle Eastern woman wearing head covering 60s, so she's a Muslim. Indian woman 30s or 40s, white man 50s, white man 50s, white woman 40s or 50s. Good grief. Okay, I'm gonna go through her. She got stupid, crazy, long ass thread, y'all. Oh, this is day 2. Wow, okay. Karmelo Anthony murder trial day 2 is underway with jury selection. Karmelo Anthony is in court wearing a navy suit and tie. I'm struck by how young he looks. He's 18 but presents younger than that. Okay. We haven't seen the jurors meeting. It was in different room as jury pool. We don't know age, race, gender. Okay. 18 jurors, 12 plus 6. Okay. Opening arguments from prosecutors. This case has nothing to do with race. Prosecutors revealed that a folding knife was used to kill Austin Metcalf. We will be seeing a video of the stabbing. Daily Mail has already seen the video. It's not great. Yeah, great for the defense. Or not great for the prosecution. So what the brother man said, what the brother man says is on the tape. Yeah, this is a self-defense. Opening arguments are about to get underway. Karmelo, 19, wearing a gray suit with purple shirt. His hair looks a lot shorter and cut closer to his head compared to the last time he was seen in public in the picture below. Okay. Video is about to be shown in court. It is the video I have seen already that I describe in detail in the article. The footage doesn't show much as the camera is a fixed camera on the opposite side of the football field from where the stabbing occurred. Also, the stabbing happens under a tent, so the view of the stabbing is obscured by the tent the kids were under. Okay, only 9 news organizations have been credentialed by the court to be inside the courtroom. They include Dallas TV stations, Dallas Morning News, Court TV, AP, Daily Mail. No other news organization's blogger is in court today. Only credentialed members of the media are allowed electronics in the courtroom. We are the only ones live reporting what's happening. Less than 30 members of the public. Okay. The interest in the Karmelo Anthony murder is so intense that people are trying to buy their way into court. I was just approaching the ladies' room while on a bathroom break by a young woman who offered me cash in exchange for my pass, granting me access into court. She also asked other women who had been in line since 6 a.m. to buy their passes. Everyone turned her down. We just saw what happened, what appears to be a person push another person under the tent. Their faces are not visible in the footage. Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf were under the tent for about 4 minutes together. Karmelo was scheduled to participate in track and field events the day of the stabbing and took the school bus there. According to his defense attorney, this is important because there had previously been widespread misinformation that Anthony had skipped school to be at the track meet and wasn't even supposed to be there. Same surveillance camera also captured Austin Metcalf and his twin brother Hunter walking into the stadium prior to the stabbing. Their mother, sitting 2 rows in front of me, looked up at the screen showing the video suspended in front of her. Okay, the family has already seen this video privately before it was shown today in court. Okay. Jurors are about to see the only known recording video of the Karmelo Anthony stabbing. Daily Mail has already seen the video, which was recorded by a fixed camera. Okay. Let's go to this thread. Let's see what they're talking about. Giant TV screen's been wheeled in front of the jury, and the witness, who is forensic analysis, is going frame by frame describing to the court what he sees. Same surveillance camera also captured Austin Metcalf and his twin brother Hunter walking into the stadium prior to the stabbing. Their mother. Okay. That thread. That's that. Okay. Let's continue. This is the jury. Okay. Several members of the public are crying as court sees text Star sent Austin one day after he died. Love you, man. Sorry I didn't say it enough. Text. Oh, here we go to sympathy play. Star raced back to Anthony Austin's side where several coaches were praying over him. Twin brother Hunter was nearby and was hysterical. Okay, right. So he lied and said he was trying to put pressure. Okay. I jumped the gate and I went to Hunter and he was hysterical. I just knelt down and I just prayed with him. Star says this is the black coach now. Star says it was raining really hard while they were praying. Star is sobbing during the testimony. I just knew Austin was gone. Okay, new state witness, Coach Rob Starr, head coach. He is testifying about the track coach and how the tent was a big deal. Each school has a tent with their name, logo, and kids who don't belong to that school do not go to the tents. Yeah, that's same thing out here. Okay. Starr added that the student athletes keep their belonging valuables under the tent. Sometimes a coach is even assigned to stay the tent to keep an eye on belongings and kids. It's a big deal to keep people out from underneath your tent. Running track. Okay. Starr recounted that he was across the field at the concession stand when he saw the commotion under his team tent and knew something had happened. He ran back across the field. What do I see? Is Austin on the ground and his face is purple and he has a big hole in his chest. Starr explaining and crying. Okay, Starr says Hunter pointed at Karmelo Anthony and asked Starr to do something. Starr approached Anthony, who was walking very calmly with his coaches until Starr asked what happened. Starr raced back to Austin, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we got that. Several. Okay. Yeah, that's the fuck the sympathy play. Fuck all that. Okay, Austin Metcalf's dad, Jeff, is wiping away tears during his testimony. Okay, new state witness Vincent Cooper, coach at Frisco, is now testifying and now was assigned to manage Karmelo after the stabbing and stop him from leaving the football stadium. Later, Cooper was asked to calm down a teammate of Austin who was angry at Austin about Austin stabbing. Austin's teammate, who was black, wanted to attack Anthony. He stabbed my brother. The black Memorial teammate said of Austin Metcalf. The teammate explained that he was on a football team with Austin and he considered him family. Yeah, I know. Yeah, okay, young man. Austin's father is wiping away tears with a handkerchief. 911 operator is giving instructions on how to help Austin while asking about stabber. Caller said they have stabber. Come on, Austin. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, EMS now arrived. No emotion from Karmelo in court during 911 call. He mostly just looked straight ahead and down. Austin's mother is in court, leaning forward in her seat with her head down. Multiple people in the gallery are crying. Some are friends of family of Metcalf. Blah, blah, blah. We're about to hear the 911 call that was made from Frisco Football Stadium the day Karmelo stabbed Austin. Coach is testifying that Austin lost pulse before the ambulance even arrived. Austin was gasping, but coach knew it was his final breath. Coach Joshua Redmond had previous military training. Okay. 911 call. Caller is saying an athlete was stabbed. You can hear chaos in the back. People yelling. Caller saying Austin is not breathing. Someone can be heard yelling, "Stay with me, Austin, stay with me." Austin's mother's in court, leaning forward. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Austin's father. Okay. Cry. Yeah. Okay. Well, shit, man, fucking with people. I bet you won't do it again. Let's continue. Prosecutors just showed the jury a photo of Austin Metcalf's lifeless body at the football stadium after he passed. The picture was not shown to the people in the audience at the courtroom, just the jury. There's also a second photo of the blood-soaked jacket that was wrapped around Austin after CPR failed. Okay. Second day of testimony. We are hearing from Frisco firefighter Neil Adams. He responded to the stabbing of Austin April 2nd. When firefighters arrived to the stadium, the situation was already grim for Austin. He was gray. There was no respiration. He did not have a pulse. Adding that Austin was flatlining when they tried to monitor his heart. We continued monitoring and doing everything we could. And he said Adams tearing up when asked if this case has impacted him. Adams has been excused and now another witness is called. I got the alleged, now watching body-worn video from Officer Cortez where he took Anthony custody. I got the alleged suspect in handcuffed, detained. Anthony in video, he put his hands on me. I told him not to. Now hearing from Frisco police officer Eduardo Cortez, who took Karmelo into custody. Alleged suspect, not questioning Anthony as that was not his role. It was only to detain him. However, when Anthony heard Cortez on the radio that he had the alleged suspect, Anthony volunteered, "I'm not alleged. I did it. He put his hands on me. I told him not to." Okay. Crime scene analyst Frisco's on the stand. Karmelo trying the contents of what he was wearing and what was in his backpack the day of the stabbing was shown. Anthony was wearing a $150 hooded sweatshirt that read "Essentials Fear of God." $150 for a hoodie? No, sir. Okay. We're back in court after the afternoon session in Karmelo. The judge has just asked the media not to identify upcoming witnesses who are minors. We are told who the minors are or what they will be testifying to. 17-year-old Memorial High School male athlete not testifying. We have been told not to give his name. He had been hanging out with Austin on the day of the stabbing. He also runs track for Memorial. He was under the tent with Austin. Tina is saying several people confronted Karmelo Anthony and told him to leave the tent. Austin, another boy, and he was among the Memorial High School students who told Anthony to leave. I remember it kept getting more aggressive, the teen said. I remember Karmelo refusing to leave. Then Austin asked him to leave. Anthony said, touch me and find out, the boy recalled. Boy says Karmelo was asked to leave about 15 times by Austin and several others. He says no one ganged up on him and he didn't think a fight was going to break out. He thought were might be minor pushing at most. Teen says this went on for 2 minutes and adds that both Austin and Karmelo were angry at this point. Boy says Karmelo was provoking Austin. Ooh, is that right? Okay, Austin pushed Karmelo. There's the assault. And then Karmelo stabbed him. He added that the knife came from a backpack in Carmelo's lap. During the back and forth between Karmelo and Austin, Karmelo had his hands in his backpack. The boy said after the stabbing, Karmelo threw the knife up the bleachers and then ran away. Boy said he didn't expect the stabbing at all. Austin fell onto the bleacher onto his back, and then he got up and went against the fence and guardrail, and his chest was all bloody. I think he said, "Oh my God," the boy said. The boy, oh shit, my camera getting hot. I think it's time for me to buy a new camera because this one keeps overheating for whatever reason. Okay. Austin fell. I think he said, "Oh my God." The boy called the ambulance at this point. Prosecutor asked the boy how hard Austin pushed Karmelo. Boy said it was somewhere in between a light shove and a hard shove. Which one was it, bro? Hunter was at the bottom of the tent and was not involved in this. Boy denies anyone ganged up on Karmelo. My friend's bleeding everywhere. The boy can be heard saying the 911 call he placed. You can hear lots of people shouting in the background in general chaos. Under cross-exam, the boy reveals that Karmelo wasn't even under the tent. He was sitting on the bleacher just above or north of the tent. What was the problem with that? Defense attorney asked the boy, since Anthony wasn't under the tent. Relative area, the boy responds. He says they were told to keep kids from other schools away from the general area of their tent. Boy testifies that the exchange went on for about 2 minutes, Anthony arriving at the tent and being asked to leave. When others asked Karmelo to leave and he refused and Anthony became angry, then both Austin and Karmelo became heated as the exchange went on. Okay. Let's keep it going. Okay. Under cross examination, the second team describes the shove Austin gave Karmelo as a lineman drill. When Austin grabs Karmelo, it's almost simultaneous that Karmelo goes to stand up. Second teenager, who was black, says that Austin even called out Karmelo when Karmelo put his hands in his backpack. According to the second teen, Austin said something like, "This is Frisco, you don't have anything in there." And all the other teenagers agreed. The second teen was sitting right next to Karmelo. Austin's shoving of Karmelo wasn't even hard enough that Karmelo touched him when it happened. Second teen says stabbing happened so quickly that he didn't even realize it had happened, and he was sitting right next to Karmelo. I just remember being in shock and not really knowing where to go. Prosecutor, did it seem like Austin was trying to pick a fight? Second teen said, "No, sir." Prosecutor, did it seem like Karmelo wanted to pick a fight? Second teen said, "Yes, sir." Oh. We got the bullshit in play, y'all. They done got to the kids. Second teenage boy who was in the tent stabbing recounts. Okay. The back and forth between the two boys started, and then things got more serious. Karmelo wasn't even looking at Austin. He already knew what he was going to do. The second teen is saying, "How would you know? See, they got to the kids, y'all. I'm sorry, but kids lie too. So tomorrow we'll be back. Kids lie too." That's messed up, man. Oh, Knicks up 2-0. Okay, then don't give it time. The Knicks will find a way to blow it. Give it time, y'all relax. Give it time. The Knicks will find a way to blow it. Okay. Damn, they already lined. They about to line Karmelo up, man. So they about to line that young man up. I still think he was overcharged though. First degree? Nah. Okay, let's go here. Okay, so this is day 4. So we 4 days behind. The state called Tiffany Whitaker, athletic trainer at Memorial. She said that her job was to prevent athletic injury. She stated that she was at every event. She received extensive medical training and is CPR certified. She said she knew both boys. She stated that there was a rule about the tent. It was like a locker room. It's a team safe space. Stated that the weather was cloudy and windy. She stated that around 10 a.m. she was set up with medical equipment at the Andrews building. She stated that she saw Austin around 9:30 and he gave her a hug. She said that she saw a commotion and heard screaming. She ran onto the track to see what was going on. She said that a student she knew said him. He stabbed him and threw the knife. The student then pointed at Karmelo. She said that she then stopped right in front of Karmelo and put her arms out to stop him. She then got Coach Hooper's attention with Heritage High School. She said Hooper then turned towards Karmelo and said, "You stabbed someone, son?" She then moved on to find the person who was stabbed. She did not know who it was yet. She arrived to the tent, saw multiple people were already helping Austin. She grabbed his wrist to check for a pulse. She gave rescue breaths while the coach was with Liberty High School was giving compressions. Another prosecution witness, Jalen Matthews, testified for the state. Matthews is a former Memorial High School track athlete and is now 19 years old. Question: when did you first see Karmelo enter the Memorial High School tent? Jalen: he comes in from the top of the bleachers and sits right next to me. What was your reaction when he sat down? I was a little suspicious, random kid. Why did that make you suspicious? Just because he came out of nowhere with no friends. How did others in the tent react? It raised heads. Were people asking who he was? A lot of people were asking, who is this person? Were they directly asking Karmelo who he was? They were directly asking who he was. What did Austin Metcalf do? He stood up and turned to him, saying he has to get out of the tent. Did Austin raise his voice? Never raises his voice. How did Karmelo Anthony respond? He was serious about not moving at all. How concerned were people with Karmelo being in the tent? He just kind of had a stare into the field. That's when it got more serious. Did anyone think something violent was about to happen? Nobody's thinking anything like this is going to happen. Why did you believe Austin confronted Karmelo? Austin likes to step up for people. What did you witness when the incident happened? It was so quick, I really didn't know what had happened. What did you see after that? I saw him lift up the shirt and the inside of the stabbing. Did it look like Austin was trying to pick a fight? No, sir. Did it look like Karmelo was trying to pick a fight? Yes, sir. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. Did this look like self-defense to you? No, sir. Was Karmelo Anthony the aggressor? Yes, sir. Ooh, buddy. So they got his name out here. But he's an adult. He's an adult. He's not a kid. So Jalen Matthews, 19. So they own his ass now. They're gonna be on his ass. Outlets that named him, just a quick sample. Dallas Morning News straight up names him multiple times in live updates, noting he's 18, 19. He's not an adult. He doesn't get the protections of a juvenile. Sorry. New York Post, Jalen Matthews, second teammate who is 18 and has since graduated. Yeah, all those protections go bye-bye. CBS News Texas covers the trial extent. His name is all over the reporting and social shares from their team. They own his ass. The court even withholds names for actual minors like the 16-year-old, but not Matthews. Matthews is not a teen. He's not under those protections. Duh. Okay. Jalen Matthews. So now we know who you are. The judge asked people not to name the witnesses. You are responsible for what happens to this child because you named him. I thought it was just minors. Oh, okay. Everybody's dismissed. Frisco firefighter. The cop. Okay. See, so Karmelo entered the tent intent to get a reaction, ready with a knife. See how you just quickly frame the narrative and people just run with it? That's crazy, right? 100% what happened. Kid was looking for the slightest provocation to use his knife. That's exactly how I'm reading it. Didn't do nothing. Yeah, of course. Okay. I thought Austin approached Karmelo. How did Karmelo instigate or provoke the situation? Fair question. Okay. Austin leans in to push him and Karmelo stabs him. Karmelo had his hands inside a backpack and we thought it was a bluff. He says he and others didn't believe Karmelo would do anything because they live in a safe community. Austin fell down the bleachers onto his back and he got up. He lifted up his shirt where his chest was all bloody and he said, I got stabbed. Did he say anything? I think he said, oh my God. Yeah, well, I bet you won't do it no more. I'm just saying, man. So here we go. Karmelo was not ganged up or jumped on. Austin and Anthony didn't know each other. Okay. Anthony was not suspended from school at the time and was expected to participate. So what the black man said, no one is corroborating. The track head coach Vincent Hooper was the next witness. He was asked about tents. He said, you want your kids to stay in their camp? He said he had to go. He had left the tent to go to get batons from the car and then made his way back. As he was walking back, he said everyone was running and panicking. He then saw Coach Tiffany, who said, hey, this kid stabbed someone. Don't let him leave. He stated that he put his hands out around Karmelo. Karmelo said, he put his hands on me. The coach told Karmelo, you know, if he dies, you just change your whole life around. Karmelo responded and said, he's not going to die. He then passed Karmelo over to Centennial coach. He said an African-American kid was chasing Karmelo, and the kid said, he stabbed my brother. I'm going to get him. But he was able to grab him and hold him back. This particular individual is likely a witness. And wow. Okay. I was in the courtroom today, and this is inaccurate. The physical confrontation lasted only seconds, and the video showed 2 shoves from unidentified figures behind others under a tent. Karmelo Anthony ran out of the back of the tent immediately after and lasted only seconds, and students quickly exited the tent. So what he had? Something similar? Yo, these little things are sharp. This is what, these little things are sharp. Okay. Let's see. Another moment that stood out involved Howard's repeated references to Karmelo Anthony by his nickname Mello, rather than referring to him as the defendant. This is important. At one point, Howard began joking about the teenagers in the home. He then turned toward Karmelo and told him to cover his ears. Karmelo then stuck his fingers in his ears. It came across as very childlike. The courtroom laughed. On its face, it may seem harmless, but it was another moment that drew attention because it portrayed the defendant in a more youthful and childlike manner while jurors were still being evaluated. Rather than seeing the defendant simply as the person charged in the case, the interaction created a moment where people were laughing and viewing him through a different lens. This is very clearly and purposely done. This overlarge suit, the small chair, the attempt to make him appear as a child, whether intentional or not, it humanized him in a way that some observers believe was inappropriate during jury selection. Throughout the day, Howard repeatedly returned to concepts involving self-defense, lawful presence, knife possession, and a person's right to remain somewhere where they are legally allowed to. Also, while Howard's questioning focused heavily on knife legality, many local residents are aware that Frisco ISD facilities are not simply open public spaces with no restrictions. Frisco ISD properties contain policies and signage restricting weapons on district property. As a result, several people in the attendance questioned whether the defense was presenting an oversimplified version of the legal issues involved. By the end of the day, the jury pool had been substantially narrowed, and the process of selecting jurors was nearing completion. It then came to the courtroom's attention and to many Anthony supporters' dismay that all African-American jurors had been dismissed, including the man who said that he could not send a brother to jail. You don't say this shit out loud. You keep it to yourself. My God. Oh my God. Wonder why Austin Metcalf didn't go get a coach or an adult instead of asking Anthony to leave multiple times and pushing him. Truth is, both Anthony and Metcalf had other options that they failed to use. With that being said, I wonder how the defense is going to use their testimonies of the prosecution's own witnesses as leverage. Honestly, their own witnesses helped the defense, if you ask me. Karmelo's getting absolutely obliterated at this trial. 6 young witnesses who were right there when Karmelo stabbed Austin have now testified. It doesn't look good for Karmelo. All of them testified that Karmelo was repeatedly asked to leave from the team area. All of them testified that Karmelo pulled out the knife either right before Austin went to shove him or at the same exact moment. Karmelo's attorney even questioned one of the witnesses if Austin got a hold of Karmelo. His answer, he didn't get the chance to grab a hold of him. He was already stabbed. So he never got, so they're all saying he never got jumped. This is crazy. Hold on, turn my fan on. I don't know, y'all. Who do you believe? Who do you believe? I know it's still early. Literally, it's 4 days into this trial. I didn't know this thing was already going on this week. Okay. Sir, no one's seen the video, okay? Only, oh my God. I'm just not. Yeah, good luck finding the footage, okay? The footage is nowhere online. It's court evidence, y'all. What the fuck? Come on. It's freaking evidence. So for the past year, Karmelo supporters have claimed that Frisco ISD security footage shows Karmelo being attacked by 4 boys and proves he was acting in self-defense. That video has now been played in open court, and many of those supporters are about to get a harsh reality check. The footage barely shows anything. It does not show Karmelo being attacked. It does not clearly depict the events that so many people have confidently claimed it does. For an entire year, supporters repeated a narrative based largely on descriptions provided by the family's advocate, Tiffany Billions. Now the jury and the public have seen the actual footage for themselves. According to Marianne from the Daily Mail, the video was heavily zoomed in, making it extremely grainy. The faces of the individual involved are not visible. At most, the footage appears to show one person pushing another under the tent. The video also shows that Karmelo and Austin were under the tent together for approximately 4 minutes before the stabbing occurred. In short, the security footage does not provide the clear visual proof of self-defense that Karmelo supporters have been claiming existed for the past year. Oh boy.
High pop-up tent with his team near the victim, Austin Metcalf. The suspect, Karmelo Anthony, was from Centennial High and was sitting under the Memorial High tent. Austin told Karmelo that he needed to move out from under their team's tent. Karmelo grabbed his bag, opened it, reached inside, and proceeded to tell Austin, quote, "Touch me and see what happens." No one really thought Karmelo...
Okay, hold up. Then give me the link. Send me the link. Post a link to the video. Post a link to the video in the chat. Until then, I don't believe you. You need more people. Once again, okay? Post a link to the video if it's out here for all of us to see.
really had any weapons in his bag, and Austin proceeded to touch Karmelo. Then Karmelo told Austin to punch him and see what happens. A short time later, Austin grabbed Karmelo to tell him to move, and Karmelo pulled out what this witness recalled as a black knife and stabbed Austin once in the chest and then ran away. Let's talk about what that statement means. All sitting on the bleachers under a Memorial High tent when another male he did not know walked over and sat under the tent. That would be Karmelo Anthony. Austin told this male that since he didn't go to Memorial, he had to leave the tent. Austin and the male went back and forth. Then Austin stood up and pushed the male to get him out of the tent. During the time of the arguing, the male was reaching around in the bag that he had. It was at this time that the male took out the knife and stabbed Austin and then left the scene. They're substantially the same, Mark, in terms of what they're saying. There are a few differences, but what's your take on whether or not, from those witness statements at the time that this happened, where do you think the jury would land on a case like this?
It's going to be a tough call, and I know that's an easy thing to say. You can't lose if you say you're in the middle. It's going to be a tough call for these reasons. When you actually do an analysis of self-defense, there are different components. The argument that Karmelo Anthony was there and he shouldn't have been there. Well, that's okay, but it's not your bleachers. You don't get to throw people out because of a tent. That's an argument that you're going to see the defense make. Why did the eventual victim in this case decide that it was his role to kick him out? And then there's a tussling back and forth. And then, unfortunately, Mr. Metcalf did seemingly start the fight, so to speak, right? He was what we might call the aggressor and pushing him out or grabbing him and touching him. So under Florida law and also Texas law, and when you're the aggressor, when you first start the fight, so to speak, you may lose the protection if it was Karmelo who started it, Karmelo Anthony. Now we get to say shift it because if Metcalf was the one who started the fight, now can Anthony respond to defend himself? We know he can. And then, as was mentioned a moment ago, are you supposed to bring a knife to a fist fight? No. You're supposed to bring a gun to a fist fight? Absolutely not. But if you're there and starting to get attacked, which is what the defense is going to say, can you defend yourself? And what they're going to say is Anthony doesn't need to wait until the first nasty strike, the first injury. He can presuppose what might happen. And
he can speculate like he felt like it was going to be a problem. Yeah.
Allowed to defend himself.
Yeah. Once again, wait on that video. Wait on that Austin Karmelo video that's not online. It's part of the testimony for the trial. Well, why would they? It's evidence. Why would they leak? Why would you know what? Let me stop. Okay. All right. We got 1 weekend. 1 weekend. So 4 days of testimony. But once again, do y'all believe what this man said? Because once again, this man said he got jumped and he was surrounded. So
you have the light bright boy here and you have the darker boy here. Okay. I think that's what I remember. So I have to go back and think about it. But that's where they were. One was going up and down while they were talking and kind of pushing or whatever he was doing. Austin and Hunter was in front. So where they're talking about grabbing bags, Hunter actually said that I grabbed his bag.
Right.
And then later on, he said that Austin threw the bag.
Okay.
Jeff also said the same thing. And so that's them both antagonizing. And we know under Texas law, I just have the fear that you're about to do something to me and you can get up out of here. Yeah, so you don't have to touch me. But at that point, he still stood there and stopped there. And whatever they say alleged was said, you don't know that until they get into it here. But once they did that, they started hitting him. Karmelo actually was able to back out and try to get away. So he was actually trying to get away the first time. Austin grabbed him, and you can see his hoodie coming out like this, and they brought him back in. Okay. And when they brought him back in, that's when you can see Austin put him in a headlock. You can see that all the rest of them are still hitting. That must be when the poke happened, because he was able to get out again. He backed out. He looked to the right. That's where the other little kid was filming, because they got some cell phone footage too. But that's where he was filming. He looked directly at him in his camera, and then he went this way to the left. He went down. He fell, and that's when they realized he was gone. They were still punching. And when he fell, that's when they all turned around. They started chasing him. Austin tried to go chase him too, but he grabbed his chest. I guess he realized that something happened to him, and that's when he went down a little bit and he fell down. But all three of them were chasing. But Karmelo was so fast, he got away and went around to the coach. And so you can see them on the video pointing toward Karmelo and the coach. And I can imagine, because Karmelo out of the camera on that moment, that he was telling the coach what happened. And then that's when Hunter said he whipped his head around. That's a true statement. He just wasn't sitting with it. He whipped his head around. You see him on the video. And that's when he walked over to where Austin was, but he never touched him. So all that stuff about him rendering aid and holding his heart, and he never did that, because the coach grabbed him and he was holding him. So at the end of the day, that's kind of where the moment went. But they did assault him, and we'll just play the game. Even if it was just a push, you still assaulted him, because it was unwanted. By your own definition in your word of him saying that leave me alone and I'm not going, you assaulted him, period. But they did beat him. And if you look at not the photo that Fox 4 put out, because that was one that they actually edited. I have the emails to prove it. But the actual Collin County one, you can see the webs and stuff on his eye. You can see the bridge of his nose is swollen. You can see the webs under his neck. And so that's the reason why they edited the one from...
Okay, now to be fair, all the prosecution's witness, and once again, they're for the prosecution. No one said he got jumped. They're not saying he got jumped. Now, if you end up with a bunch of defense witnesses saying he got jumped, and if the footage just shows that I don't know, man. Either he got jumped or he didn't. And it leans toward he never got jumped. That's what's being inferred from everybody that's seen the video. They're saying he did not get jumped. So do you believe these people or not? I'm just asking questions.
from Fox and kind of airbrushed it, and you see they put the locks of his hair that got taken out as well.
Oh, okay. I need to get that.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people on this live. Then
Send me your email.
I will.
I'll send it on to you. I've been doing this thing since last year.
Now.
Yeah.
I listen to. Probably a lot of people don't know. I listen to everything. And I heard something. You said them 4 people, a light bright and a dark.
Yes, sir.
What you mean by that? Light white or dark white?
One mix, one night.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was a black dude over there with them.
Yeah, 2.
It was a mix, and it was a brother.
Yeah, and I think
so it was a school.
That's partially right, because the other young brother went after Karmelo to chase him down, saying he stabbed my brother. Why y'all always? These people not your family, but okay.
I think one more supposed to be there, but he was suspended.
But it was like a school thing instead of like.
It was. I'm gonna just say this. Let me just be real. It was more than just a school thing. It was a I don't like you thing.
Right. Okay.
One of them ran track with him.
Okay. Who said he got jumped? Okay, now I'm about to kick you up out of here before I lead this out. So we had 4 teenage witnesses, 4 plus 1, Jalen Matthews. We have 5 witnesses that says he was not jumped. Once again, they are prosecution witnesses. So I expect witnesses for the prosecution to give testimony to lean towards the prosecution. I expect witnesses for the defense to lean towards testimony that leans towards the defense strategy. So I got 4 plus 1, 4 teens and 1 adult saying he was not jumped. We've got people from the outside that have viewed the tape saying he was not jumped. So before I kick you out of here, do you have anything else you want to say? So before nobody touch him. So before I kick you out of here, do you have anything else you want to say? This is only day 5 of the trial. I just said we're going to have to see what the defense presents. I just said if the defense witnesses all say he got jumped and the prosecution witnesses say he didn't get jumped, then there's a problem. Either he got jumped or he didn't. So anything else before I kick you the fuck up out of here? Is there anything else you want to say before I kick you up out of here?
So he definitely liked him because they were beating each other, whatever. But another one actually knew of him.
Okay.
And he just happened to go to a memorial and be friends with the twins.
Okay. All right. Have a good night, sir, ma'am. No, don't nobody touch him. I touch him. Pause. Let me put this one on. Let me see. Let me put your ass up in there and get you fuck up out of here. We get you up out of here. Okay. I just read 5 or 6 people's testimonies. 1 cop, 1 EMS, the medical staff trainer, and then one of the coaches, and then 4 teenagers and 1 adult. The 4 teens and 1 adult said he did not get jumped. Let's go.
And all that. I don't like you.
So
that's the one that wasn't able to make it.
Right.
Yeah, because he made sure he told me I wasn't even there. We know you wasn't there. You suspended.
It's hard for me to take what he's saying serious because court TV, they're allowed in this court. They're allowed in this hearing. They saw the tape. We have 3 attorneys on court TV said, no, there was no jumping, assaulting. No, he wasn't jumped or ganged up on or attacked like that. No, it wasn't 4v1, 5v1. It was none of that. So let's continue. And then the 1 black coach was coming back from outside from his car getting batons until someone ran up on him and said, hey, he's been stabbed. And that's how he gets involved in the fray. So what the fuck, man, come on.
And so at the end of the day, but there was a plan. And if you remember, if you look at TikTok, and I think they put it on Facebook as well, there was a photo showing the back of the canopy and Karmelo was sitting in the gray and it said 2 minutes before. That was that young man who took that picture 2 minutes before the fight.
Right.
And you can see him on the video entering into the canopy. He was coming in from this side to sit down. So when they came and they started pressing upon the little guy in the yellow poncho, they kept looking back, but when they started hitting them, they couldn't take it no more, so they just put their head down and stood there. Okay. But that little dude got back up and started filming. Yeah.
Yeah, I got that too.
Yeah. And so that's the moment that we run into, and so that's why you had so much of a smear campaign on all kind of people saying this, they worry about folk backgrounds and all that. We worried about this boy right here that's in here, because he's still a boy. You know, he's a grown man. He was still a young man looking like a baby up in there. Yeah. We worried about him being charged for something that he shouldn't have. Which technically, Hunter, those 2 boys, and the other 3 or 4 boys that helped him out should be charged with. And that's what the moment is. They should be charged with murder.
He sounds pretty convincing. I don't know what to believe at this point. I need to see what the defense is going to present. I need to see what type of case the defense is going to present Let's continue.
Yeah,
Texas law reads, if you're in the commission of a felony and one of you happen to unalive, I'll use TikTok for the moments.
Yeah.
At that point in time, everybody who was acting in that felony now get charged with the higher crime of the unaliving. And that's why you hear Jeff Metcalf, Megan Metcalf, Sarah Fields, all these other people. That's why you hear them keep saying that, hey, Hunter didn't do nothing. It was all Austin. Austin grabbed the bag. Austin pushed him. Austin did this. When Hunter started it by his own admission on WFAA on April the 2nd, a few hours after they got.
Okay, now what did the witnesses say? They said Karmelo already had his hands in his backpack, and they pretty much said in one failed motion, when Austin goes to grab Karmelo gets to stabbing in one continuous motion. So you got a grab, stab. So either Karmelo knew he was going to get grabbed, or he flinched and was going to get to poking him anyway. I hope the kid beats the case, but it sounds like Karmelo was going to poke the kid anyway with his hands in his backpack. If someone makes a move, if it's already in your mind to do something, swing on somebody, stab somebody, shoot somebody, if they make you flinch, then you're already on go. So what it sounds like, the kid just happened to go in to grab him. He was going to get stabbed up anyway. That's what it sounded like to me, based off what the prosecution's witnesses have been saying. Once again, we need to see what the defense witnesses present.
The hospital, he said his own mouth.
Exactly. It's
on that
too
interview.
way too early.
Me and my brother and a couple of our friends.
No cameras.
We came.
No cameras.
So he said he was involved.
And then he say, my brother like to protect me.
Yeah. So if he started, his brother always come in to protect him and finish it. Is what he said. So now you want to do this campaign, 18 hours on TikTok, all this stuff you want to do to try to uncensor Hunter from the problem, and then you give out scholarships to some of these kids that was involved so their mama can have money in their pocket and they won't testify. That's what these people have been doing. So it's just a moment to where at some point people need to understand that it's a little bit deeper, and that's why in the opening statements he said what he said. You know, we're gonna show you the video to show you that it wasn't just a touch and a whisper and all that. We're gonna show you because we got the video. And so when you see the video, you're gonna know they assaulted him and he had no other choice, because guess what? We have no duty to retreat in Texas.
Right.
None. That boy retreated twice. He got beat up. The boy retreated. They pulled him back in.
So he actually got beat up.
Yeah, he got beat up. Yeah, he got his butt whooped. Yeah, that boy's a loving out fighter. His own supervisor said that on TikTok from Foot Locker. He said that boy scared of his own shout. And if you were in that courtroom, they said that the other day on Wednesday. Right. He was in there. He was shaking. That boy was nervous. So at the end of the day, he's a kid.
So the video should tell the tale then, right?
It always have told the tale. But what they did not expect, they didn't expect that the community and other folks like myself and others would actually say, no, that's not right. So, I know you got a video because I knew that on the 3rd.
If you got the video, put it out there to spoil the case. If this video, this version of what he says exists, put it online so you can taint the jury. Hello? That's how you sabotage a case. That's how you sabotage a case. Put out the footage of what he just said took place, and you'll blow this case up from the inside. Let's continue.
Of April. So let me go see that. Let me go see what happens. I'm not going to take the word of the people in the community.
Yeah,
I'm not going to take the word of the people in the administration. I want to see it for myself.
So are they using it for the court?
You leak it so it ends up in a mistrial or a not guilty verdict. You know, you spoil the jury. What? Come on, man. This is, law 101.
Oh, they try not to.
They don't have no choice. If they don't want to use that video, they can't have no witnesses.
Okay.
Yeah. You can't put Hunter up. You can't put Jeff Metcalf up. You can't put Megan up. You can't put the folks that actually are on the police report, the 2 that wrote a statement, or the 70-something people on there. Nobody can say they said anything, because as soon as they speak, the only thing the defense got to say, do you want to change your statement? You want to retract that? You want to add on to it? And they say no. Roll that beautiful beam footage. Is that you?
Right.
Did you do that?
Right.
Is this what you said? And so it has to be played.
They need they need that video. Boy, they can give me that video, man. Say, you didn't have no metal glasses on, so you can copy it.
Well, you had people try it.
Wow.
They got kicked out. So, yeah, a couple times. So we'll talk about that after.
Yeah, okay.
But there's a couple people
Do you plan on being here every day?
I'll be here every day. Yeah, since they want to be messing with me, I should have been on the road making my money.
Who's messing with you? Just
it's hard for me to believe this guy, man. Like, come on, bro. Like, once again, I understand. I need to see what the defense witnesses say. Okay. All right. Okay.